Jannik Sinner beating Daniil Medvedev in the semis 6-1, 6-2. That is the type of scoreline that you see when someone's like a dominant 12 and under junior or like first round of club tennis. 1-2 against someone who Medvedev will end up going down as maybe like one of the top 20 players of all time. Maybe 20. I mean, and if you're arguing with me, you're arguing with me because you're a jerk and you're arguing it over like 2 or 3 spots. But point being made, the guy's won a slam, been number 1 in the world, won a ton of Masters 1000s, repeated finals, and especially on hard courts. To beat him 1-2, I don't think people understand how impossible that is. And then you go to the final and you beat Dimitrov, a resurgent Dimitrov, who, oh, by the way, had just had wins tuned up Alcaraz 2-4, start to finish, and then reverses a 7-match losing streak. And obviously, it's nice to get through a matchup that historically hasn't been good to you over Zverev. And for all your troubles, you go in and get beat by Sinner 3-1. I'm gonna make a point for you of how dominant this performance was by Jannik Sinner. So we all know that, yes, Novak, the best of all time, numbers don't lie, but the most dominant person when you get on a specific surface at a specific time is Rafa on clay, right? That's as indisputable as the GOAT conversation is. I would say that the Rafa conversation on clay, maybe even more, or it is more so. So I'm going, what are the statistical comps for Jannik Sinner winning 1-2 in the semis of a 1,000 and then 3-1 in the finals of a 1,000? 2010 Monte-Carlo, Rafa Nadal beats Ferrer in the semis. I think it's like 1-2 or 1-3, and then beats Verdasco in the final 0-1. So to draw a comp to what Sinner just did in Miami, you have to go to prime Nadal on clay in a Masters 1000. That is what you're comparing this dominance to. Sinner this weekend in Miami to Rafa's best ever finish as far as games lost in a Masters 1000. Sinner in Miami, Rafa prime on clay. That's the comp for what he just did. And I think most of us were saying on the way in, he's been the best player in the world. I've been on record for saying the last 5 or 6 months. And he's beaten all the players. He's beaten Novak 3 times. He lost his first 6 in his career against Medvedev and has won the last 5. That little hiccup. It's like, how could you lose to Carlos Alcaraz on his best hard court in Indian Wells? That's what we're talking about. Has won Masters 1000s, has won Davis Cup, has won a Grand Slam, lost to Alcaraz in the semis, won Rotterdam, won Miami. The statistical comp for what he did last weekend is Rafa in 2010 in Monte-Carlo, a tournament which Rafa has won, tens of times, which is also absurd.
Yeah, it also says he's the first player since Roger Federer in 2017 to win the Australian Open and Miami Open in the same year.
Yeah. That's been done. Even that is like as impressive as that is. And I can't poo-poo that away because like I barely won Miami and I never won Australia, but like the dominance with which he's doing it, beating Novak in the semis of Australia, beating Medvedev. I mean, he's going through the best players in the world to win these tournaments. It's not as if someone's out. It's not as if there are restrictions on vaccines or COVID or there are no outlier things, right? Obviously, Novak wasn't in Miami, but the way this guy's playing, I don't know that would have mattered as much there. I'm curious to see how he keeps the momentum going. Clay, he's at the point where he's going to be good on everything. He's a very good clay court player. But at this point, I would say it's probably his worst surface. But just dominant. I feel like he has more shape on his shots now. The margins are bigger. He's not missing like first balls ever. And credit to him because you can be successful to a certain level and be scared of change because of that success, right? Cleans house, brings in Darren Cahill, adjusts his team 2 years ago when he was a top 10 player 2 years ago and very young. On the upswing. Makes that change midway through last year. goes from a platform serve to bringing the foot up, and now he's almost unbreakable, getting a lot more swing on the slice serve. So deuce, add side, and what does that do? First ball strike, all of a sudden he has 3 more feet of court to work with to hit that ball into. Is barely getting broken, is breaking serve. The movement piece is absurd. For his career, you're going, okay, he's too skinny. Is he going to grow into his body? And he kind of looked like 3 years ago, he kind of looked like a baby giraffe when he was going around the court. You could see the flashes of brilliance, but his body didn't look like it was totally mature. I'll tell you what, it's mature now. The way that this guy is sliding, getting in and out of the corners, running down drop shots, switching directions, it's crazy. I feel like in the last 6 months, he skipped a level too. He went from like, I'm 10 in the world to I'm maybe the best player in the world. And we'll see if it's consistently up to a career high ranking, number 2 in the world. I'm not sure what the strategy is against him moving forward. Besides, I hope that Clay comes and he's just not as good on it. Because that run last fall and then this start to the year, it's like Djokovician. Is that a word?
It is now.
Can we make it one?
It is now.
So I hope I did what he did justice. I mean, the comps are absurd. What he's done so far this year is insane. Just going up levels upon levels. And I'm not sure what the interruption is going to be beyond just getting to a different surface. And I know for those top guys, Medvedev, Carlos, Novak, that change when matching up with Sinner can't come soon enough.